Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something different. Usually I'll just go through a bike with you guys and show you like step by step my painting, the prep and everything like that. But today I've got so much repair work for multiple different bikes. So what I'm going to do is actually step by step go through some of these bikes with you guys and show you exactly what I got to do. The repairs on these bikes, some of them are pretty intensive. I've got to fill some badge holes and I've got some pretty big dents. So I'm going to go through the whole process just to show exactly what I do and what products I use to get the desired result. After that, I'll prime up everything and get it ready. So next time you see this bike and all these parts, they'll be getting painted. So I will refer back to this video. I might even post a few clips of the repair that I'm doing into the main video of when I paint these bikes just to show. But today, yeah, it's specifically just going to be on repairs. Alright, so today we're actually going to do this XV750 tank. You can see it's had like a bit of a modification on the end, which I'm going to have to smooth out and just make it look nice. It's also got badge holes which have actually been cut and these were filled before. It's got dents, dent here, other side is the same, badge hole been cut out and needs filling, and there's a dent just there, bit of pitting in the top from rust. Overall the top doesn't look too bad, it's just got a little dent there, more pitting, dent on the front, so, and then there's a dent there. Underneath looks pretty good, so I'm not going to do anything with the underneath. All I'll do is just rub it before I paint. So first of all, what I'm going to do is actually sand the repair spots where I'm going to put some bog with 80 grit, and then everywhere else I'll just leave for now until we're ready to prime, and then I'll hit it with probably 180 just around the repairs. And all the repairs I'll show you as I go. I usually start off with 80 grit when I block my repairs, but I will show you as soon as I've done my bulk and show you the mixing ratio and what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to start off and hit most of it with 80 grit. It does feel like there's a dent at the top here too. Now that I'm looking, there's a dent there, low spot. So I'll once I've sanded it, you'll be able to see exactly where the low spots are. Usually what you could do is actually put guide coat on there, which is sprayed on. I don't know if I've got any, but if I do, I'll go put some on quickly so I can show you exactly where the dents are and how you can reveal them just with the sander. Usually if this was a vehicle you'd probably block it, but because it's a motorcycle tank it's a lot easier and a lot more things are hidden, so you can get away with a lot more. So I'll go find that black guide coat, put some on, and then we'll get sanding. Usually I'd like it to come out a lot nicer than that, but for some reason it's spraying funny. Usually it would come out like a fine mist, but I think the nozzle's blocked on it, so that'll be going in the bin and I'll need to buy some more. But for now, I'm just going to hit it on the sander, just with just the backing pad, no interface pad or anything, just the backing pad. And I've got some 80 grit discs. So I'm going to get started and sand all of those spots so you can see exactly where the repairs are. Alright, so now you can see what the guide code's done. It's highlighted the spots here where it's still got some black there. Another little spot here that shows where the black is. Same with this dent on the front. It's still showing the black where the dent is. And on the other side, it's showing the dents on the front here, which these ones are quite obvious to me. But there was a couple that I sanded over, which I didn't notice before. Just a little bit of a low spot just here. And then just this little one there that I didn't see before. So there's also this big one on the back here, and then the infills of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hand sand with 80 grit these here, because it's hard to, I can't get in there with the sander and I need to put bog in these. The other ones that I can see, I'll probably hand sand too, so I don't lose them, because I need to sand it to get a lot of the all the black off and really rub back that primer and almost go back to metal. That one might be alright to do with the orbital. I just wanted to leave it so I can show you exactly what the guide coat does for me before I got to bogging. So today we're going to use some fibre glass filler, which is reinforced with fiberglass fibres, and this is the packet here. U-pole fibril. It says on the bottom 3%. 3%. That's my potato to a pea ratio. This is what I've done. This is what I put on the board. So the more hardener you put in, the quicker it's going to dry. But you also don't want to put too much in. Because what happens is the peroxide in the bulb will actually seep through your paint, so you've got to be really careful when it comes to that. So I put about that much. I think it'll be fine. What I'm going to use this for is actually to do the badge holes, and I might even do the back bit a little bit, as there's a few holes in the back, and with this you can fill, I think it says, I think it's like 50 mil holes or something like that. It doesn't say anything on the packet, but yeah, you can fill about 50 mil holes. So it's also good just for layering and putting your bog on top, because it's so thick. Instead of using bog will crack, as with this I find it a lot stronger. So I'm going to mix this up and put it in where the badges were, and put a bit around the bottom, and then we'll get to doing the other bog as well. There we go, we'll just give that probably 10 minutes to dry. Let me just reiterate that the holes that I was filling in that weld weren't holes into the tank, they were just pinholes in the weld, so that's all I was filling up in this case. I wouldn't recommend filling up holes in your tank. I think you probably should get them welded. But you can fill holes in other things, like when I've done fridge doors and stuff like that, around the handles sometimes there's been a couple of holes there, and I filled that sort of stuff. But I've also put aluminium tape on the back of it to reinforce it, but it's held up well. Bog straight over the top after you've sanded it all flat, because with this won't be my finishing bog. I'm not going to be using this for finishing. I'll be sanding that right back and then using my other bog to actually shape it and fill it and make it nice. So this is just for to fill those holes and get some thickness to it. So in about, as I said, 15 minutes I'll come back and get this sorted. So while we're all waiting, I thought I'd get started on the next tank that I've got to do. This tank is from a Kawasaki, 70s Kawasaki. I've just got, on this one, I've got 2 side covers, tail, front guard, and tank. So this is a full restoration. This bike had a big dent here, and because of that body line there, it was dented in here, and that had pushed up the metal. So it's actually being pulled out, the dent, and then so it's tapped down on the top, so it's much better now. I've still got a few dents to fix on this with bog, and I still have to put bog on this as well, but it's much better than what it was, and I would be working hours trying to get that the raised bit to come out. So just get it done properly. I haven't got a dent puller as of yet, but that's on my list of things to do. So currently I have to outsource to get somebody to do that for me. Same with welding. My dad has got a welder, but he still hasn't taken it out of the box. So, you know, there's always next week that he might take it out of the box and he can do my welding for me. So just little holes and stuff like that. This bike has actually had some welds done to it. There's an original side cover, and we just had the holes filled up. So you can just see there, it looks really nice. So even the finish after that, you know, is not going to need a lot of bog on that. It's really, really good. So I've had some, holes filled on some of this stuff. The tail piece has also had a hard life. There was I don't know what the situation was, but they've drilled holes all the way along. Apparently it's really hard to get another one of these tail pieces, so we've had it repaired. The other side's been welded before with some holes. I'm not sure. I think maybe it was to do with the inside here. There was a repair, and I think it's meant to be spot welded, and maybe they've drilled out the spot welds and then they just bogged it. Also they've done something to the back here where I presume they tried to fit some sort of other tail light, but with the original tail light that'll all be covered. So, and also there was a couple of dents on the bottom just here that have been knocked out. So we're pretty much ready to sand this one, and also with bog. So that's what I'm going to start working on now. I'm going to hit this one with 80 grit. There's quite a few dents on this. There's just some rough primer on there. Don't take note of the runs. That's not how I usually prime. The situation was actually I ran out of primer and I needed some primer on a Saturday, and it was a public holiday on the Friday, so nothing was open. So I went to the one paint shop that I knew was open, and I said, what primer have you got? And they had one primer, and it was the worst primer that I've ever used, and that's why I have all these runs, because as soon as I put a coat on, it just ran. But it protected the metal, and that's all I needed it for, because these were all sandblasted. Everything I got was all sandblasted. The last tank that you saw me repairing had nice primer on it, because I finally got to the paint shop and bought some primer, some good primer, when they opened again. So I'm going to be sanding majority of this off. There's nothing wrong with the primer. I think it's just not very good when it comes to putting it on. It's just runs so easily. I'm not sure why, but anyway, it got me in trouble for the time being. So now I'm going to hit this one with 80 grit, and then I'm going to have to go over it and work out exactly where all the dents are. I don't necessarily need to guide coat. I usually don't guide coat anything, because unless it's after primer and I've done a big repair and I want to block it and make it really good, then I'll use the guide coat. But most of these little repairs I can see, because the primer actually changes color. So the primer will go lighter as I rub it, so I'll be able to see the darkness of the primer. So I'm going to get started on this one now and get it ready for repair while the other one dries. Yes, I know I don't usually sand the inside, but there were some runs in there that I got from this shitty grommer, so I just sand them out because I'm going to refarm. While I'm waiting, I'm just going to sand the rest of this stuff, get ready for bog, and then I'll do bog all at once. I'm just going to give this one a quick sand, and then that tail piece quick sand ready for bog with my 80 grit, and then we'll get into it. And then I'll need to actually sand that fibre fill on that tank first. And I'll hit that with 80 grit as well. Alright, so we've sanded everything else. I've actually got another side cover and a guard over in the back that I've previously done already. They didn't need any metalwork repairs, so they just need bog repairs. So I'll bring them over in a minute as well and show you what I'm going to bog. For now I'm going to hit these with 80 grit and get this right back, just so it's sort of flat. Alright, so I've sanded these two sides, as you can see. It's all filled up. It's pretty good, you know. It obviously needs still a final bog both sides, and that was actually a lot harder to sand than normal. One thing that I would advise you is do not buy any bog or any filler from your local auto shop. Make sure you go to a paint shop and buy the bog from there. This one is actually a paint shop bog. The thing is, why it was so hard to rub is I could have left it just that little bit too long for it to go hard, and it really went really hard. Also, I'm not sure how old that is. I probably had that for years, so it's probably out of its date, but It still works, there's no problem with it, but obviously I'd say that its hardening time is a lot quicker than what it would be if it was brand new. Now I'm going to get the guard and the side cover, get my pieces here next to me, and then I'm going to get some bulb, and I'll show you the bulb that I use, and start filling all these dents up. Alright, so here's my bulb ready to go. I usually mix up a lot. This is probably on the lighter side of what I would normally mix up, because I need to have more control. I've got my gloves on, which I don't usually do because I'm messy, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to wear my gloves so you can see it goes everywhere. The bulb I'm using today is a good bulb. It's Dolphin 1 feel. Now, bulb is personal preference. Me, I like this one. It flows out nice, it's easy to rub. I also like Rage Gold. Most people will swear by the 3M. I don't like the 3M personally. I think it goes too hard too quick, and once it goes hard, it's really hard to rub. You have to get it in that perfect time frame. This one will go really hard as well, but it takes, you know, days to get hard as opposed to minutes, and you've only got a small window with the 3M one specifically. So this one is also on the can, it says 2%. My normal ratio, potato to a pea, so there's probably 2 potatoes there and 2 peas. So I'm going to put this on pretty quickly because I'd say that I probably nearly use this whole lot for this one tank, and then I'll just do the side covers or something just to use the rest. And then while that's drying, I'll apply some more to the rest of the parts. Hey, welcome back. I actually had to leave when the bog was drying because it was already nearly 6 o'clock and the sun was setting and the bog wasn't dry yet, so I had to go home. But we're back today and the bog is dry. There you go. So I'm going to start off by sanding these with the orbital sander. Now usually if it was a small repair I would just use the block with a bit of 80 grit, but because it's such a big repair I'm going to start off with the 80 on the orbital and get rid of some of these like edges and just start getting some of this off because there's quite a lot on here. There's a lot of bog on here. So start with 80, get it down a little bit, rub some of this off, and then go with the block to make it nice and straight. So I think all of these will have that. Pretty much all of the parts I've got here have all got big repairs, so there's heaps of bog on them. So yeah, I'm going to have to do 80 grit on all the repairs and then I'll get the block out and block. So I'm going to start with 80 grit now, and then I'll go through what we're doing with the blocking after. Alright, so I've taken the top off of that and sort of just got all the high points and knocked it down a bit. When blocking, you can use guide coat as well. You can spray on your guide coat and then when you block it you can see the highs and lows. I can actually feel it. I can feel where it's still high and where it's low. Like for instance right now, I can feel that this is high, this is high, this is high, this is sort of normal. That doesn't feel too bad. It's high here, it's a little bit lower here, and then it's low and then high again over here. And then this bottom piece, high over here and pretty good over there. So it probably will need another skim of bog. There's a few pinholes, which is expected, especially when you put your bog on so thick. But I usually do another skim over the top anyway. So I do my first block with 80 and then I have a feel and see how it feels, and then I'll put a light skim over the whole lot and then block it, and that'll get any highs and lows that I might have still be here, especially around the big dents and stuff like that. So your bog is just, it's not thick enough to quite cover it. So you always have to do, you don't always, you have to do another layer. So I'm gonna get my block out and get that organized. Now for this, usually I would use a bigger block, like a longer block, but today I've got this one, which is still pretty good. I think this will be okay. I've got smaller ones as well, but this one I just put my Velcro paper on there. So I've got some 80 grit over here, and I'll plug it in for dust extraction as well. So I've got this net paper. I don't mind this net paper. It doesn't last as long as say some other papers that I've got. I've got one that I had before, which is this one here. It's not a net one, but I reckon it lasts a lot longer than the net. I think the net just wears out a little bit quicker. So next time around when I buy another roll, I'll probably go for this one again. This one, they're 3M, they're both 3M, but I just think I prefer this one in this particular brand. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my dust extraction, and then I'm gonna start blocking this side and see how we go, and then I'll block the other repairs, which I think the other repairs aren't that bad, so they shouldn't probably need any more bog. They'll probably just be fine. So we'll start off with 80 grit, and really knock it down until I feel that it's nearly there, and then we'll change grades. Alright, so I finished blocking now. There's a few low spots in here, a few high spots. I'm going to put another round of bog on there. I actually missed a dent. One dent right up here, which I was able to just block so you can see it there. And then this dent is actually pretty good. I reckon that's ready to go, that's done, there's no issue there. I felt everywhere else. This one needs a little bit more, it's a bit low. Underneath here needs a little bit more as well. It was quite low at the front. The back's nice, but this bit here just needs a little bit more. And the other side, fairly good all round. This one's a little bit low. It's not too bad, but it's quite a big dent. Bit low down here, and these are sort of high spots through here. This bit is not too bad, a little bit high at the front here. So I usually, what I would do, depending, is I would get my hammers out and sort of knock it down, but that's at the very end when I've decided that there's nothing I can do, like the bog, it needs to be knocked down. So I'll keep going with the bog, and we'll see first if it, after the last layer, that I can sort of build a little bit up here and it sort of goes away, because it's not too bad. Same with this area here, it is high, but I think with the bog, with the skimmer bog, it should be okay, it's not too bad. Across the back here, this feels pretty good. The bog might be a little bit high just here, so I might need to just take off a little bit. And I've discovered another little bit of a dent in this area. It's not too bad, but it just needs a skim. So I'm going to apply a thin layer of bog now. And then once I've done that, I'm going to go on with the next tank and block that while this one waits for it to dry. So I've got my bog here. I'm going to mix it up and then apply a nice thin layer. A little bit extra in those spots that are low, where there seems to be still a dent. I'll just put it a little bit extra on that little spot and then skim the whole thing. Now, the reason that I do that is because if you start doing spots on your bog, you'll have it really uneven. So sometimes you can get away with it if it's just a small spot, but when you start to do like bigger spots and you just apply bog in that one area, what you're going to find is that it's so uneven when you block it that you're going to be blocking things around it, and that's going to go lower, and then it's impossible. So what I do is I like to put sort of a skim over the whole lot, so when you're blocking it and you're blocking it straight, you're all at the same level. So when you at the end, it's going to be nice and straight. You're not going to have highs and lows and different bog everywhere. So as I said, if it's a small dent, you can usually get away with it as long as you put only a little amount of bog on. But yeah, with the bigger stuff, you really need to put a skim over the whole lot and just block it off again, or else, as I said, uneven is not fun. You just keep chasing your tail. So I'm going to apply this now and then get on to the next tank. All right, so now that that's all bogged and we've got our final layer on there, it actually went on really nice. So I'd say one final block will be okay. I'll do a quick 120 sand on the orbital just to knock off those high spots and just take them off a little bit, and then we'll block because there's only a little bit on there, so 120 should be enough. So with the rest of the stuff, I'll start getting the rest of that bike prep. This is the Kawasaki one. A little bit about it. This Kawasaki is a client's dad's bike, and he's restoring it because it's coming up to its 50 years. And he wants to go back to how his dad had it painted, which was kind of like a purpley bluey color with gold. So we're going to change it up a bit, and we're going with a really vibrant purple. I've already painted the wheels are gold, and we're going to do the similar gold pattern that was on the tank previously, which was 2 stripes that go around. We're going to change the logo a bit because the logo that was on it was really big, and it was the modern one. So we're going to go with the old school Kawasaki logo, a little bit smaller. And on these side covers, I've had the holes filled because originally they had badges. So we're going to go and put the 500 on here with something cool, some sort of cool font. I still haven't decided what we're going to do. I'll have to keep you updated on that, but it's all going to be painted on. So I'll make up the stencil and then paint it on in the gold, the same as the wheels. So the gold that we're using is the Subaru wheel gold, the BBS wheel gold, which is a really nice color. And the purple is actually a Lamborghini color, really vibrant 3-layer color. So you'll see that in the next couple of weeks. I'll post up a video of all of that. So the other bike that we're doing at the moment that I'm prepping is this Yamaha XV750. Now this is sort of like a cafe racer bike that obviously has had a modification on the back. The bike has sort of like a single seat, different front end. It's quite a cool looking bike, and the rest of it's mostly black. So on this tank we're actually going to be doing a gunmetal grey, and then on the front we're going to be doing black, but the black will sort of come across here, and then we'll have another black stripe here, and there'll be a Yamaha logo which is in the grey, the same grey as this, and there'll be the stripe in between which is also grey. So it'll be a 2-tone. That logo will also be painted on as well. So this is also one that I'm going to be doing in the next week. All these bikes are getting ready for DGR as well, so which is coming up. So that's only a few weeks away, so I've got to get myself moving. So this is all back together and on the road before then. So this bike obviously needs a lot of work, so we'll see how we go today, but this one is a lot more intensive when it comes to repair, especially because of the badge holes as well. So this is going to need a lot of work, and I'm not sure how far I can get this, how good I can get it, but I don't want to load it up with bulk and just be a whole bulk back end. So I got to make it look neat and tidy, and hopefully it looks straight too. So in the meantime, I want to get most of this repaired so I can get it in primer this weekend. It's Thursday today, so on Sunday I'd like to get this all in primer and ready to go. I also film me putting everything in primer so you can see how all the repairs look after everything's been primed. But for now, I'm going to keep going with this bog and hopefully get it all repaired today. Alright, so I just use the sander on this because it's flat, so you can pretty much get away with it. And what I've noticed is actually a bit of a high spot just here. It's perfect over this side, along this top bit here. It's absolutely perfect. So I actually am going to need to tap this down a bit because it's so good up the top here. So it looks like what's happened is when it's got welded, it's just distorted the metal a little bit with the heat. So what I'm going to do is get the hammer and dolly out, and I'm actually going to tap that down. I've got a cheap hammer and dolly. Eventually I'm going to get a nice new one, but it does the job for now. I need to get a slapper as well, but I don't have one yet, so I'm just using what I've got just to knock that out a bit. So we'll see how we go. So it feels pretty good now. I'll just put a skim of bog on there because there's a little low spot, but most of it is knocked right down, so it feels a lot better. So there's just a bit of a low spot here. So I'll just give it a skim. I probably could get away with it, to be honest, but for the sake of repair and making it absolutely perfect, I'm going to put a skim on there. But yeah, it's feeling really good now. I really need to sand the rest of these with a bit of 180. So I'm going to do that now, just quickly sand off the excess with a bit of 180. So then when I do the repair and put some bog on, all I've got to do is rub that and it's ready for primer. So I'm going to leave this aside and I'll put some bog on after. I've got to do the other side cover and I've got to do the tail, so I might as well mix up bog and do all of them at the same time. So I'm going to hit this other side cover, which had a pretty severe dent in it. You can still see it in the back there. Well, it's hit pretty hard. So I'm going to sand that first with a bit of 80 grit, then we'll have a look and see where we need to go from there. Alright, so that is still very low, so that's going to definitely need more bog. I knew that anyway. The rest of it feels pretty good, so I'll just give it a quick block and then I'll have to put some more bog in over here. Now this is the sort of a scenario where I actually will be able to get away with just putting a little bit of bog here and not putting it over the whole thing. So I'll just block it now and then put it aside and get on with the next one. Alright, so I found a spot that is really high. This spot right here. So I'm going to have to grind that out and grind it down a bit because there's metal directly behind it, so I can't tap it down even though I have tried. So this is going to be a repair for another day because I need to, as I said, just grind that back a bit and get some of that metal off because it looks like it's right where a weld is as well. So it just needs to be ground down, otherwise I'm never going to be able to get that out and it'll always just look lumpy. So I'll have to fix that another day. This side, absolutely perfect. It's come out great. It's got a few pinholes in it. You can see little pinholes. So all I've got to do now is just put some fine fill bog in those holes, just a little bit, and then a little bit 240, and it will come out. Top's great. The back I put some filler in as well, and that's all sort of smoothed out and looking nice now. So I'm going to go on, just fix up the front guard, and then I'll put some bog in those side covers, and pretty much they're ready to go. Alright, I got some bog. Just get these two side covers sorted, and I might just use this to fill in a couple of pinholes on that tail piece, and then I'll get ready to get sanding that tank. Hopefully we've got all this stuff sorted by today. I'll have a look and we'll see how far we get before it's lunchtime, and then I'm going to go home and have lunch, see my family. If anybody's wondering, our daughter will be 8 weeks on Sunday. It's Thursday today, and she's very healthy and chubby, so she's doing great. We're all very happy. She's cute, and she's also sleeping a lot during the night, not during the day. At night we'll probably go to bed about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and she'll sleep maybe 5 hours, and then she'll wake up at about 2 o'clock. And then she'll have something to eat, and then she'll go back down and wake up about 7, 8 o'clock. So we're really happy with that. She doesn't like to sleep much during the day. We think she's got some serious FOMO, doesn't want to miss out. So that's been hard, just trying to entertain her all day. But she's doing well, and she's nice and healthy, so we couldn't ask for much more, and we're sleeping, so we're not going to complain. So I'm going to do this bog now. That's a little update of what's going on, and hopefully, as I said, we'll get this done today, and then I can go home. It's a public holiday today, so have a nice relaxing afternoon, and maybe go somewhere with the family. Alright, so I did just put a little bit of filler on this side. You can still see that high spot there. The reason for that is because I know this was a little bit low and there were a few pinholes, so I thought I'd just put a skim on while I have bog. I'm still going to have to do more once I repair that, but I thought I might as well just get ahead and fix some of the rest of the stuff. So there's not much left to do once I grind that back a little bit. So now this bog, let me feel it. It's still not quite dry yet. It's nearly there. It's still just a little bit sticky. So I'm going to have to leave this for now and go on with this Yamaha. So I hit it with 80 grit. This one's definitely going to need more repair, especially on this side. You can see that dent, like it's really still quite low even with a bit of bog in it. So I'll start sanding this and try and get this repaired today as well. We'll see how we go. It's going to take a bit of work, this one, so. just finished doing a block and a sand on this tank. Pretty good. This, where the badges were, pretty good on this side. Can't really feel it anywhere. Only sort of spots I'm feeling is the big dent up the top there. These dents around the front, which I know about. Across the top, I think I missed a dent just here. So I've got to fix that up. But I think the whole top needs a skim. It's very like high and low. I think I filled most of the lows, but now I think it just needs a skim and just like one block so it's all the same level. Front here feels pretty good. This side here, yeah, not bad. I can sort of feel a little bit here on that edge, so I just need to skim that. Front feels fine. A little bit high there, so I might just do a little skim. A little dent there, which doesn't feel too bad. I might just do a little skim while I'm there. That dent's good. The back, I think the sides are pretty good. There is a bit of an angle here, and that's just the shape of the metal, but I might just put a bit of bog and try and round it off. The top here is low in these spots, sort of dips down, so I'm gonna have to try and do something, because there's a line through the center of the tank which is high, which is quite normal, but now I've got to sort of, because it's got this straight bit at the end, I've got to kind of put bog in there and here to sort of make it look, because it is flat there now, so I need to, there's no ridge anymore. So this side feels pretty good as well. It's just little spots, little holes in the bottom, which I'll just make flush, but most of it's pretty good at the back. It's just that centerpiece that's a bit funny. So I'm going to bob this now and then let it dry, and hopefully the other tank that I put skimmer bog on before is dry, so we're going to sand that. Alright, so we're back onto this tank. I just quickly buzzed it with a bit of 80 grit just to get those like lines where I cross over off. But now we're going to block it and just make it all flat. It already feels pretty good, so it's not going to take much. So I'm going to block this and the other side as well, which I've also done a little bit of 80. I mean, even feeling that now, you know, it is not going to take much and that's going to be done. And this side here as well looks pretty good. It's filled up now, so that big dip is not in there anymore. So I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it is at the underside of the tank, so you're never going to see it, but it was pretty big and pretty prominent, so I thought better get rid of it, and so it's not as obvious. So I'm just going to get blocking this now. Alright, I blocked the tank. It all looks pretty good. There was a little spot at the front here that I just noticed that was a bit high. I have knocked it down, and it does feel alright, but I reckon that I might put just a small skim of bog on there, just to make sure, because it feels like there might be a little spot there that's a little bit low. So other than that, it's all done. Big repair on the side, obviously. It's really nice and smooth now. Across the top, same thing. This side had the few dents on it. They're all good now. Finally found that one that I missed. It doesn't feel like there's any others on there, but you know, it's not the first time that I've missed something and had to go back. And then I've done under here as well. Just finish that off. Everything's got, that one's got a few pinholes in it, so when I do that little bit over here, which I'll do in a second, I'll just put a bit on there. I'll just go over and look for any pinholes and just fill them up. So by the time Sunday, I'll prime this one up, and I'll probably be able to prime up some of the others as well. So I'm not going to finish repairing until Sunday now. So if you want to see the rest of the repairs, then you'll have to have a look and wait for the video for these bikes, which will be a few weeks away now. So, but I will insert pretty much me just finishing these off and putting them in primer, and then the whole bit with the painting and everything. So for now, I'm going to leave it there. I think I've pretty much showed exactly how I sort of go through things. Anything else that I'm doing now is just what I've already shown. So I'm going to leave you there, and if you have any questions, please post in the comments and I'll answer you about anything that I've done, papers that I've used, anything like that. I'll answer your questions. If you could please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.